Hey everybody, it's your girl Darsha Clark, your mental health expert. I'm in my uniform, of course. Y'all know mental health. The color is green. Yeah, so I got a lot of green, and my shirt has mental health. And May is the mental health awareness month, but I wear green and mental health shirts, as you can see, all year round because it's the uniform. So we're here. Video number three, kind of four. I did a short. Did y'all watch the short? I announced something, and I don't really know if I'm going to tell y'all here in this video because maybe you should go back and watch the short. It's only 2 minutes. 2 minutes. You can go back and watch it, but we'll see. When we get done, I might want to share the announcement with you guys. But today we are going to talk about grief. And if I'm being honest, I really had some hesitations because of it's just heavy. It's just a heavy time for a lot of people, and professionally, I'm supporting a lot of people, and personally, there's just a lot of grief around me, and so I've been putting it off, and I'm like, okay, it's time to do it. Let's talk about grief. I want to make sure people get some help on how to manage this time because it is a really hard time to be grieving during the holiday season when everything is supposed to be happy and joyful, and you see all the movies and Christmas cards and decorations and all the things, holiday, New Year's parties, all those things, and people are so joyful. But that's just not an accurate depiction of what's going on with everyone. And so, I have to do my job, right? I gotta make sure that I put some information out there, and hopefully it will be helpful to you if you are grieving. Hopefully it will be helpful for um, if you're helping support somebody through their grief journey. I just really hope that it will be helpful. So I did take some notes because I wanted to make sure I covered all things that I wanted to do with grief. So you're gonna see me looking down. My notepad is right there because I gotta make sure. But the first thing I wanted to do is I really wanted to dispel the myth of the grief process. So you can Google the stages of grief, and some things will come up about, anger, sadness, bargaining, denial, and some other ones I don't remember. Um, and I know that's been out there for a long time, and it was meant to be helpful, and people absolutely do go through those stages. But the biggest misconception is that when you go through grief, it's linear, or that it is that there's certain stages you go through and then you go through the next. And I'm sorry to tell you, that is just not the case. Grief is not linear. How I like to describe grief is being on a roller coaster. You can have these really low lows, and then you're up and you're like, oh, okay, I'm doing okay. And then you go around a sharp corner. Um, and then your stomach is dropping, right? And it feels kind of good maybe because of the thrill, but then it feels bad. So I've been describing grief as a roller coaster for a long time. And also, for my people that know what a pinball machine is, so if you don't know what a pinball machine is, please look it up so you can understand what I'm trying to say here. And so, grief is like you are the ball in the pinball machine. And so, if you ever played the pinball machine, the ball goes back and forth, up and down, and all over. And you sometimes you can be really high up, making all the points up there, and then you slam, crash, and you're out all of a sudden. And it's just so unpredictable. And so that's how I like to explain grief to people so they can really understand that it's different. And it's different from everyone. That's also something that makes it just really, really hard is that everybody grieves differently. There's this expectation or notion that If you're grieving, you should cry. Or if you're grieving, you should be at home moping, or maybe you're lashing out people at people. But the thing about grief is that not only do different people experience grief differently, also the individual. Grief is unpredictable. And so that's hard. I don't know how many times through my own losses and through helping other people that, I've said, or other people have said to me, like, I was going through the day and everything was fine. It wasn't sunshine and rainbows, but everything was fine. And then all of a sudden, it was like, what happened? And I felt like I was back to the first day or the second day. And I want you to hear me. Please, please, please hear me, that that is so normal. It's so typical for that to happen. And it's okay. And everybody may not understand your grief, and that is okay too. Please, please, please don't let the misconception of what people say about grief keep you from grieving. And please don't let people's misunderstanding of you and how you're grieving keep you from grieving, because it's a lot of things you can do wrong in grief. And one of them at the top of my list is isolation. You know, is there some balance between isolating and spending all of your time with friends and family and coworkers? Sure, there's balance in everything in life. However, isolating, being by yourself all the time, is just a big risk, because you're alone with your thoughts. You don't have anybody to try and help you manage your thoughts. You start to get in a place where you can get really, really down, and there's nobody around to kind of try to help you get past that place. And so isolation is just really, really, really one of the last things you should be doing. And so I always caution people against that. The other thing that I try to explain to people is that when you are grieving, a lot of times your emotions are kind of all over the place. Your thoughts might be all over the place. And the thing that I would like people try to do is to avoid making any big decisions during grief, because there's a lot of emotions. There are a lot of different thoughts, and they may change, and they may change by the hour, by the day. Um, and I know, with that being said, our society does not allow for that. There are a lot of big decisions that need to be made right after the death of someone. And so when you have to make those big decisions, please, please, please ask for the support of someone so they can also be your eyes and your ears to kind of help you through that process, to make sure you don't make any decisions that you might regret later. Um, so having people around is good for so many reasons. And so the holiday is coming, right? And there might be a lot of people around, or there may not be anyone around. And so loneliness can definitely come up, even when there are a lot of people around. If this was, a best friend that you spend a lot of time with, or a spouse, or a child, even with a lot of people around, you can still feel lonely. And I'm here to tell you that that is normal. Your life has been turned upside down because of the person that you loved has died, and it's different. And you've never had this experience before. And so I always tell people, even if you have experienced death before, you never experience the death of this person, the end of that relationship. And so that's why grief can be so different for individuals. So, thinking about the holidays, are you getting overwhelmed with decisions you need to make? Are you usually the host house? Are you usually the person that is all about, ripping and running, doing all of the holiday themes, and maybe you don't feel like doing them? Or maybe you're worried that the person you had to do those things with aren't here and you don't know who else to do those things with. Yes, I get it. It's hard, it's frustrating, it's unimaginable how you move through this. And that's why, I tell people that it's so important to have support people, again, right? People around you that care for you to kind of help you navigate, just even in the holiday season. Maybe, if you're the host house, maybe you decide not to host this year, and that's okay. It doesn't mean that next year you don't host, but maybe this year is just not the right time. Give yourself permission to not do everything the same way as you've always done it. This is a different time, and you're allowed to say, hear me, you're allowed to say, I don't want to do that this year. I don't want to be the host house. I don't want to lead all of the, holiday events. It's okay. That's actually a way to help take care of yourself because it can be so overwhelming. And so, if you're not the guest house, maybe you think about, well, who do I spend the holiday with, the Christmas dinner? Is it somebody else, in the family that's going to do it? Or, you know, do I just want two or three people to come over? You can make those decisions for yourself. You have permission to. And remember, everybody's not going to agree. Everybody's not going to understand. But that doesn't mean that it's wrong, right? So, did you hear that? Everybody's not going to agree. Everybody's not going to understand. And that's okay. I want you to take care of yourself, and I don't want you to put undue pressure on yourself to try and meet these expectations that have been placed on you either by yourself or by other people during this time. You can decide to do things differently. And so, the other side of that, if you're deciding that, oh, I'm ready for the holiday season, right? I'm ready to, you know, have some joy and fun and family and all those things. That is awesome. I love that for you. And then some people will say, but I feel so guilty for living life. I get that. And I also know that that guilt will be there. And you also want to make sure you have some times where you can just experience some happiness. Grief is the long game. It's not something that ends after your 3-5 bereavement days. It's not something that ends even, I know some of you probably heard, after you go through all the firsts, like the first birthday, the first holiday. Yeah, those can be hard, but that doesn't automatically mean like grief is over after the first year. And so enjoy things when you can, even if it's just for moments. Enjoy what you can, have the positive experiences. So, the guilt might be there, and some people say, I have this guilt because what if I start living my life again and I forget about them? Well, I'm here to tell you that if you love them and you guys spent a lot of time together and you're intertwined in each other's lives, you enjoying yourself, you are not going to lose that memory, those memories of that person. It's just not possible. Even just from a physiological standpoint, it's not possible to erase all the memories in your brain. And so please don't worry about forgetting them. And if you feel like you're a little disconnected from them, think about some things that you can do. That might be looking at pictures. That might be, watching videos. It might be going to a restaurant that you guys went to. It might be, you know, writing a letter to them to talk about all the positive experiences. But you definitely will not forget that person that you loved by enjoying some of the holiday season. So I just wanted to come on here real quick and share some of those things. I do have two blogs that talk about grief in general and then grief during the holiday, but I definitely wanted to put my voice to some of it. And so just remember, expectations This doesn't have to be the worst holiday season ever, and it doesn't have to be the best. You can literally just manage through it, and that's okay. Um, if you enjoy it, enjoy it. Everybody grieves differently, remember? And so it doesn't mean you're not grieving because you're enjoying yourself, or it doesn't mean, that you're not grieving because you're engaging with family members. Everybody's grief is different. So remember, give yourself some grace, give other people some grace because we're different. What might be hard for me may not be hard for someone else. What might be enjoyable for me may not be enjoyable for someone else. So just have some grace. Even though death is a part of life, we don't do well with navigating the grief because it's, hard, for lack of a better word. And also because it's different, it's unpredictable. Everybody is different. And so just give yourself grace that things will be different and you won't always have a handle on things. And give grace to other people because they don't know oftentimes what to say. Um, give them grace. If they loved you before this, if they supported you before this grief, that is absolutely how I want you to view them. That they still love you, they still care for you, and they just want to support you. And they may not know what to say, they may not know what to do. And I get it because sometimes when we're in grief, we don't know what we need. Sometimes what worked on Tuesday for us won't work on Wednesday. And so just being gracious to yourself and to other people, but definitely leaning on the people who can support you during this time. Do what you can during this season. I don't want you to isolate. I don't want you to have unrealistic expectations of doing all the things the same way, but I want you to take care of yourself. Please take care of yourself. And the worst thing you can do is try to numb during this season with alcohol, drugs, those types of things. That is the worst thing you can do. Isolation and trying to numb the feelings are two terrible things to do. It might make the feelings go away um, temporarily, but they're going to come back. And so please don't stuff them, deny them, ignore them, or, try to numb them by substances. It doesn't work. Believe me, it doesn't work. So if you find that you need more support than your family, there are resources out there. There are groups out there. There are therapists out there who would love to support you. And so I just want you to hear that you are not alone, that there are people that you don't even know that care about you and want to support you. And so make some connections, stay connected, don't isolate. And if you have to white knuckle it through the season, it's understandable. I just don't want you to make it harder for yourself. Don't try and do everything that you've done before this year. So pace yourself, be gracious, lean into your support, and know that this is a hard time and everybody won't understand. And tomorrow, next year, next month can absolutely be better. So, if you have any questions, any thoughts, you can reach out to me. Recommend, reading the blogs, but I just wanted to give a little quick kind of information and thoughts about grief during the holiday season. So, take care of yourself, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye bye.